you Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole! Oh, diva! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy!
Happy trails, Hans.
Dallas still stinks. You're my way, King Dingbat here, and I gotta tell you, I dreamt. I used to sit in bed, falling asleep at night, dreaming of the day that I could make a video telling yous that Mike Groh's ass is fired. And today is that day, and it's even better than I could imagine. The Eagles fire Mike Groh, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, and by the way, wide receiver coach Carson Walch, his ass is gone too. And I'm happy. I am happy about this. And for me, the number one thing the Eagles had to do at the start of the offseason was they had to get rid of Mike Groh. This was so obvious, it was ridiculous. Now, I had a lot of people commenting to me yesterday, Eagles are going to keep Mike Groh. Eagles are going to keep Mike Groh. And if you watch the video I did yesterday, I talked about the press conference, right? I said, Doug Peterson, at the beginning of his press conference, he says he's going to fight Mike Groh and Walch will be back. But if you listen to it later on, and this is what I was saying in my video, he kind of walks it back. He kind of takes it back and is like, well, I'm still evaluating my coaches. And when he said that, as I said in my video yesterday, I think something was left open. I think he was leaving the door open. Now, what happened? I don't know. Was he going to fire them all along and he just didn't want to say at that time? Or what I'm also hearing is that he had a meeting with Jeffrey Lurie today, and Jeffrey Lurie was like, since December, I've been waiting to tell you, basically, to fire him. So, maybe it came from Lurie, maybe it came from Howie, I don't know, but I agree with it. I agree with it 100 zillion percent. 100 zillion percent. Now, this is my thinking with the offensive coordinator situation as of right now. Okay, and I've spoken a ton about this over the last 2 years, really. Okay, here's how I see this whole thing and how the Eagles should go about this. Because the first thing that we have to remember is Doug Peterson, he came from the Kansas City Chiefs. He was offensive coordinator. He basically had Alex Smith as his quarterback. He ran a deke and dunk, quick pass offense, right? Because Alex Smith didn't go long. They didn't go vertical very much, those Kansas City Chiefs. And it was a lot of deke and dunk, And when Doug came in, he implemented that system. Now, when he had Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator, Frank Reich was very good about mixing things up and doing what Carson Wentz does real well. That's one thing that Frank Reich does good, is he takes the strengths of his quarterback and he does things. I mean, look at the success he's had with two quarterbacks in Indianapolis. So, when the Eagles lost Frank Reich, it was back to that heavy deke and dunk, short passing game, not vertical very much. And there was a problem, because the problem was that you have a quarterback with a huge arm, a quarterback who is not built for deke and dunk. He's built for a vertical passing game. He's built for chunk yards. Okay, he can make throws that maybe only one or two other quarterbacks in the league can make. But you're holding him back with deke and dunk, quick passing game, didn't work so well, right? And then when you had Foles last year, Foles did that very well. It fit him more. The system fit Foles more than it fit Carson Wentz. Now, Carson did a good job adjusting during the season. Doug started rolling him out, and they did some stuff, and they were able to figure it out. But going forward, to maximize your franchise quarterback, you've got to implement a vertical passing game. You got to implement a vertical passing game. That's why my number one choice for offensive coordinator at this point is quarterback coach Mike Kafka of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is who I would go after. Now, he's never been offensive coordinator before. He's a quarterback coach. But he's getting a lot of buzz. A lot of people have been talking very highly of him. Even earlier in the year, they were talking that he could get a head coaching job and maybe skip coordinator. But apparently, he's a very good up-and-coming coach with dynamic ideas. And that's what the Eagles need. They need a guy with dynamic ideas. What I like about Kafka is also this. He was with them in 2016 or 2017. He was there when they had Alex Smith, and it was deke and dunk offense. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs with Alex Smith, deke and dunk offense. He gets traded, goes to the Redskins. Mahomes becomes a quarterback. They changed the whole style of offense. They changed the whole style of offense. They went to a vertical passing game, a vertical passing style to fit Patrick Mahomes. I'll tell you what, I think their offensive coordinator, Beanies, he deserves that Cleveland job. If I were the Browns, that's who I would hire. Because he does a great job as offensive coordinator. But Kafka, the quarterback coach with Patrick Mahomes, by the way, he's been there through the Alex Smith and through the Patrick Mahomes style offenses. So he's been in there during the transition. I think he's the perfect fit to bring in during the Eagles transition from that Kansas City Alex Smith style to a Kansas City Patrick Mahomes style. So I would go Mike Kafka as my guy. He's young. He apparently has great concept of the passing game, good quarterback coach. He could be attached with Carson Wentz at the hip. He's done a great job with Patrick Mahomes. And he knows how to really implement that vertical passing game. So he would be my first choice. I'm not interested. Let me tell you, I'm not interested in Pat Shurmur or Jay Gruden. I don't want old coaches to be offensive coordinator. I don't want Shurmur back. I don't want Jay Gruden. I don't want recycled coaches. Give me a young guy with a lot of ideas and somebody that knows what they're doing in the passing game. That's what I want. There's also a lot of people who want Duce Staley. Now, here's the thing with Duce Staley. In my opinion, there's probably nobody, in reality, deserving more of the opportunity to be the offensive coordinator. And if the Eagles were to go that route, I'd be very happy for Duce Staley, and I would not mind at all. As long as he can implement a vertical passing offense, as long as he has good knowledge of that passing game. I know what he can do in the running game. He's primarily been a running back coach and those kind of things. But if he can implement it, give him a shot. Okay? Like I said, my first choice is Mike Kafka only because where he's at. He's coming from Kansas City and he knows the transition, and I think he'd be a good young piece to put next to Carson. There's also talk of Eagles quarterback coach Press Taylor. He's the one that came up with the Philly special. A lot of people think he has dynamic ideas. This is what I was reading. Don't really know if he does or if he doesn't. But he did come up with the Philly special, which really, I don't know how much he came up with it. There's a lot of plays. A lot of teams did things like that in the past. But his name's also floating out there. And it's going to be interesting. To me, Mike Kafka is the perfect choice. He's the perfect choice coming from Kansas City to Philadelphia, knowing what the transition is going to take to go from the Alex Smith style offense that we do a little too much of to a Patrick Mahomes chunk yards vertical offense. And that's who I want. I have no idea what the Eagles are going to do. They should not rush it, and it's going to be interesting. But I'll tell you this. To get this offseason started right, to get things going in the right direction, Mike Groh and Carson Walch had to be fired. They had to be fired. Now, what are they going to do at wide receiver coach? I don't know. This is going to be like their fifth wide receiver coach, but I hope they get the right guy. Go get the right guys. I don't care if they're within the organization or they're out, but I think you need to go and get somebody. I think you need to take a chance on somebody who's young, that has opportunity to make a splash. Somebody who's young, highly thought of, those kind of things. Kafka was getting coaching buzz mid-season. Why not take a chance on him? He's the guy I want. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do, but it's going to be very interesting. With that said, tell me what you guys think. Can't wait to hear it. Take care. Talk to you later. Don't too many cigars. Don't be a dingbat.